I'm Pamela Portnoy.
I'm Alexa Marie Anderson.
And no one's okay.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome back.
Welcome. We're
Let's
doing
take a
it.
sip of our drink before we dive into this.
maybe.
Our glass of drink, as Alexa said.
I called this a glass of drink just 2 seconds ago, and I'm probably gonna have wine mouth by the end of this episode as well.
I was
I'm
this close to.
red.
I have a bottle of red open right now, and I was like, I don't want to get wine mouth because my wine mouth gets so bad.
Here I am.
So I got a rosé to split the difference.
I love that you're into rosé now.
I mean, that was actually like the first thing I ever liked drinking when I
that.
first started drinking. And then I kind of like, it just changes. And I just, I thought this would be appropriate to match like blushing cheeks for today's topic.
You're too much. I mean, this is red, so
I think I'm just enough actually.
You are.
We're going to be talking about embarrassment.
Indeed. Cheers.
All right. Here we go.
We're doing it. We're talking about embarrassing things.
Embarrassment.
I mean, I pretty much embarrass myself on the regular. Although, I will say, I don't feel like I feel embarrassment in the moment that it happens. It's more or less like the secondhand embarrassment. Like I think about the moment afterwards and I'm like, oh God. Like that's when I really feel it.
Really?
Yeah.
For instance, give me an example of a time you felt embarrassment.
Typically when I have any conversation with a human that I am not acquainted with.
Why?
I don't know. I say weird things come out of my mouth. Like just like there was one time I can think of this vividly because it just happened. We had a water main break on our street.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't have any water in our apartment. Like it just like was shut off and we were like, what's happening? And my neighbor knocked on our door and was like, hey, like I was just getting home and he like ran into me and he was like, hey, like, do you guys have water? And I was like, I mean, I think so. Like, let me go check. And I checked and we didn't have any. And then I called like my landlord and they were like, he told me that it was because of the water main break. So I was like, oh, let me go tell my neighbor. So I like knock on his door and I'm like, hey, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. And then I was like, so the water thing, I don't know why, like I can't communicate. I was like, so the water thing, apparently the water people shut off the water. Like I literally couldn't think of like I couldn't say the department, LA Department of Water and Power, like that just like couldn't come out of my mouth. And like I vividly remember shutting the door and like walking back into my apartment and Shane's like, and I was like, I just said water people. He's like,
the water people.
You did. And I was like, yep, sure did. That was me.
That's amazing. Was this your upstairs neighbor?
Yeah, he's like right across from me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like why
how many times have you spoken to him? Twice? And that was the second time?
That was the second time. And I said water people. So he thinks I'm the brightest bulb. I was like, what is wrong with me?
That's good. But what was his reaction? I
mean, he was fine.
He's very nice.
He's so nice. He was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like he didn't it didn't really even faze him. And and then like afterwards, I probably thought about it for like 5 whole minutes. I was like, water people.
But you weren't feeling it as it was coming out of your mouth?
Not really. Like in the moment, I think I knew that the words that were coming out were like not correct, but I didn't really feel like the embarrassment of, because I think like thinking about him like, because I think when you're in conversation, sometimes it happens so fast you don't completely process what goes on.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of him thinking about the fact that I said water people. And I was embarrassed.
So what does that feel like for you? Like in your body? What does the embarrassment feel like?
I want to crawl out of my own skin. It's like guttural. It's like a punch to like the gut. It's like, ugh! Like, you know how you have that like
must peel out of here.
Like it's like, get me out. I want a new body.
I'm shedding this one.
Yeah.
Give me a new one.
It's like that whole like body chill where you're like, no. Sorry, that was
good. I liked it very much.
That was the sound that it makes when you come out of your own skin, I guess.
Can I hear it again? One more time?
I don't think I can repeat it. Like, I'm sorry, but is that not such an accurate noise for embarrassment?
That's really good.
How does it feel for you? How does it feel for you, Pam?
It feels a lot like it's a little more high pitched.
Yeah, just a little higher.
Yikes. Oh man, I came with two like cringy examples. Well, one's super cringy and it happened like, I'll get to that one second. I'll start off with the first one, which was actually quite recent. It was within the last year. There are listeners that were there when this happened.
I love how you're like, the last time I was embarrassed was like a year ago. And I'm like, last week.
No, I'm embarrassed a lot. Like, it happens all the time. But these are just like things that like I still think about sometimes. And I'm like,
yeah.
Particularly the second one. But the first one, it was fine. Like, it's always fine. Embarrassment's just really a function for human beings to understand when they've done something out of the social norm.
Awkward?
Yes.
Is that how you would put it? Just like you do something awkward, I guess? I don't know.
To say the least. It's to keep you alive, really, as all emotions really are, you know.
This is true.
To keep you a part of the social group, you know, because we need other people. Well, back in the day, we needed like other people, and we're social beings anyway.
Yes.
So last year I was on a photo shoot with two of my dearest friends in Utah at the Salt Flats. And it was so cold. It was actively snowing on that trip and not at that particular moment where this happened. And we were on the Salt Flats. It was like a really detailed shoot. There was a boat that we had brought in a U-Haul. And we hired a model and I was just there to help. It was not my coordination.
You were very helpful, I'm sure.
I was just helping. But he hired a model and he brought like all these old-timey boat. He brought this old-timey boat and all these old-timey props. And while it was so cold, we were literally in parkas and the model was in a dress. And so we kept her in a warm area until we absolutely needed her, right? And so I'm like standing in for the model in my parka and like my scarf and everything's covering my ears, so I can't even hear much. And it's windy and cold. I'm setting the scene for you.
I love it.
Storyteller ever.
I'm hanging on your every word.
Guys,
keep going.
Sorry. So they angled the boat in a very particular way, and I knew what the shot was supposed to look like, and the model was not supposed to stand in the boat. I think it's because there was so much going on. I think there was just a lot happening and I get overwhelmed sometimes. And sometimes I do dumb shit when I'm overwhelmed. And so I was standing there outside the boat and they're like, can you get into position so we can like see the lighting? I start to get into the boat. And everyone on set was like, no. And I was like, oh shit. And I was so embarrassed because I saw what the shot was supposed to look like. And no, she was not standing in the boat. I don't know what got into me that I was like, oh, let me get into the boat right now, that they just took 20 minutes to set up and I could potentially like ruin all the prop and all the stuff that they set up. And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, right. And then I stood where I was supposed to stand. But thank God, like they probably couldn't see. I was horrified because I was scared I was going to ruin the shoot, you know, and I was just so embarrassed. And like, that's all they did. They just stopped me. They didn't make me feel bad at all. It was just me. I was like, oh, and I just felt hot in the face and I felt it in my chest and my stomach. I'm like, oh, you're such an idiot.
I hate that.
It's like and especially when it's like I'm on set and I'm, you know, an actor. And so I like pride myself on like knowing how to like be on set and how to follow instructions. And I felt like such a moron in that moment, even though no one said anything else. Like I felt it big time in myself. Hot cheeks.
Yeah. No, you just actually made me think of an embarrassing moment that I had on stage once.
What happened?
I miscounted during a dance.
Yeah.
And I ended up so I did a move. Basically, it was a Fosse. It was a Fosse show. It's Chicago. And there's a lot of like very articulate movement in very tight what would you call that? I guess formations. You're in very tight formations. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. And so when you make a mistake, like
everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Everybody. And so I think it was like our closing night. So, you're like a little bit looser, you're like, I've done this. Like,
we're getting shots after this.
Yeah. And I miscount. We're in Razzle Dazzle, which is a very long song. And if you know the show, you know that song. They're in the courtroom. And I miscount and I go a step early. To the point where the next step, the step that I'm on, is a pivot turn to face the other direction.
Everybody.
So I turned before everyone else and was staring the person behind me directly in the face.
Oh, good.
And the person behind me is looking at me and he's like, hi? He's like, no. And I'm like, good. Here I am.
But it was just one step, right?
It was just one step. It was fine. So I just paused and stood there until everyone joined me and then, reconvened. But I was like, this is awful. Like, everyone knows that I just did that.
And I bet it, like, everything slowed down and it, like, was a slow motion moment for you.
I felt like I was staring at him for, like, an hour. I was like, oh, great. Hi.
Now I'm stuck here looking.
How are you?
I'm not turning back around. That's
like,
for sure.
I made a choice.
I
made a strong choice.
Yep, it was good.
It was great. It was wonderful. But yeah, and I just felt, I had to be frozen in that moment, but my heart like definitely like stopped. I was like, I'm dead for a minute. I died.
For sure. That's so interesting. I feel like it's made better when you're able to laugh it off. And when other people around you don't make it as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fact that because they didn't make me feel bad at all about it, they just stopped me, right? And they were far away, so they had to yell. They're like, no. And then that was it, right? They didn't make me feel bad.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that, like, it was, like, all at once by everybody at their top of their voice because they needed the sound to travel to me. I was like, oh God, everybody, like, everyone's yelling at me.
Yeah.
But they weren't, they weren't mad. They were just like,
and I think typically people aren't because, like, as humans make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. So I think everyone's usually most people are understanding, for the most part. So I think it's mostly yourself that's inflicting that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
But it's unstoppable. Like, you can't, like, it just comes in a wave and you're like, I wish I had power over it.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I almost wonder, like, I love talking about where everything comes from and how it manifests. And like, I really do I wonder how why that feeling is so, it comes so naturally to us as humans.
I'm no like biologist or scientist or anything like that, but I really do think that it's because it teaches you to not do what you just did again. Like, yeah, and it has to do with like other people accepting you as part of their social group.
Like, it's your body's own way of like keeping you in the social, like with the social norms.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It is weird. But it makes sense.
It totally makes sense, but it's very odd.
I mean, have you ever like been around like babies? Like when they're first learning to walk?
And it's
so when they fall down, they don't cry. But what they do is they look to an adult to see what the adult's reaction is. And if the adult is like, oh God, are you okay? The baby starts crying then. That's when they freak out because they're like, oh, that's what I should be feeling.
Whereas learned. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like my really good friends have 2 babies now, but when I last saw them, their oldest she fell down when she was I don't know, trotting along with her toys or something. And she looks back and her parents go, oops. And she's like, oops. And then she keeps going, like, no problem.
I love that. I love that. No, I feel like a lot of my embarrassment does come from growing up and love my parents and all the teachers I've ever had. But it really does come from, growing up and someone kind of telling you like, oh, that's not. And then, you know what I mean? And then that's with you.
So, I totally know what you mean.
I wish I could go back and be a baby again and just like be like, no, I'm not learning any of this.
Yeah.
Now I have to unlearn it.
100%. And that's why they say like child actors are so good. It's because children haven't built up all the walls that adults have over the years.
Some of my favorite films have child actors in them. And I love it. I love it. They're so honest.
Yeah.
No one has gotten their way yet.
Yeah. Yes.
They have less baggage than us older folk.
That's so true. That's so true.
They really do.
Any other times that you remember feeling this?
I mean, I'm sure there's a million moments.
What?
I said, I'm sure there's a million moments to think of, and a lot of it is secondhand embarrassment, to be honest with you, and moments that I still think of today.
You're never like, do you ever have those like foot in mouth moments? And while it's happening, you're like, I need to get myself out of this. How do I get out of this right now?
Typically, I put my foot so far in my mouth so quickly that it's typically after the fact that I'm like, oh shit. Because I, A, speak really fast. B, I typically don't think thoroughly through before I speak because I'm Italian and the words have to make it out. They have to come out. Can't keep them in. It's not allowed. So it's typically like after it's already happened, I'm like, oh, fuck me.
It's so funny. I think about this one time. And I was having lunch with an ex's family, and I was very young and eager to, impress, get along, all this stuff. And so I decided I was going to tell like a story. And just so everyone knows, like, okay, basically before I was born, I guess my parents were debating what to name me, right? As all parents do. And one of the names that they were debating with, I'm not going to say what it is, but it was like a more old fashioned name.
Wait, I want to know.
I'll tell you later. It was like more an old fashioned name. And when I was younger, I was like, oh God, like, I was like so judgy. And I was just like,
you're like, oh that's God,
like I would have hated that, having that name growing up. But like now I think it would have been kind of cool. But at the time I decided to tell this story because I don't know how we got on the topic. I just remember this moment, but I think it was in the flow of the conversation. And I said what name they were almost going to name me. And then one of my ex's parents was like, that's my mother's name.
And you're like,
and I froze and I felt red in the face. I felt like such a fucking moron. Like I was like, I immediately just started like reprimanding myself in my head. I was like, you fucking idiot. Like, you didn't know your fucking audience before you speak. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, of course, someone in the world is going to be offended by what you just said and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah. I was like, that was completely, I was just I was speaking without thinking. And it was, inconsiderate. And then like, I don't think like anyone saved me. I was just like, oh, and I like tried, and then like someone changed the subject, and I was just like, I still think about that moment, and it must be, oh God, I was a teen. I was like 18 or 19. And I still cringe about that. Shout out if you're listening. But I still like think very, very fondly on my ex and his family. It was not on them. It was 100% on me. But I just think about that. I was like, oh my God, they think I'm an asshole.
Listen, so it happens. It happens. But you telling that story made me think of like, I felt how you were feeling. So I know there's a time that has happened to me. I just literally cannot think of an exact time. But as you were telling that story, I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I've said something and I should have thought before I said it, for sure.
You want to backpedal and you're like, oh God, like, where's the time machine when I need it? I like really wish like there's no way to smooth over what I just said. And I tried, but then I realized like it wasn't going well. It was just bad.
Yeah. I think I told, yeah. Sorry, I thought of something. I think I told a boss of mine at one time, and it was like sort of in a joking way, but then I realized the way I said it probably just wasn't funny at all. There were a lot of emails to get to, and I hadn't gotten to them yet, and I just wanted to let her know that. So I was like, don't freak out. But there's a lot of emails. I'm going to get to them. And she was like, why would I freak out? And I was like, I don't know. I just said that. I don't know why I said that.
You know why you said that.
I mean, I kind of know why I said that, but I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's probably not. I didn't think about that one. Didn't think about that one at all. I'm walking away like, I just told my boss not to freak out. Woo!
With the shimmy. That's so interesting. What did you say when she said, why would I freak out?
Oh, there's a lot of backpedaling. I was like, oh yeah, no, right. Like I was just kind of, and I just walked away.
It's a figure of speech. It's fine.
I was like, it's fine. I just kind of like aborted mission. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Bye.
Very good. Moving. Very good.
I was like, if I try to backpedal at this point, I think it's only going to get worse for me. So I think I was like, I just need to get out. Just need to keep going. I need to go answer those emails. That's what I need to do.
That's amazing. What do you find is the best way to kind of cure embarrassment?
Crawl out of your own skin. It's the only way.
For those of us that can't do as the snakes do.
I am a reptile.
Soaking up the sun.
I think just be kind to yourself. Listen, like we all do stupid shit, right? I think recognizing it, taking responsibility. If it was like a really stupid thing to do, I think you should, recognize it and take responsibility, but then move on. Be like, okay, don't dwell on it too long. That's advice I should definitely take. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. I'm like, that time. But like, listen, you're human. We're only here once. You're going to make mistakes. I think if you're treading that lightly that you make zero mistakes, must not begin anywhere. You know what I mean? You're gonna make mistakes in life, especially if you're voicing your opinion or speaking your mind or making a joke. It's a risk. Everything's a risk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of risk in making a joke these days. So you know what I mean? Like, you're human, take responsibility for whatever it is, recognize it, be like, maybe that wasn't the best choice, or maybe it was, and you shouldn't feel embarrassed. That's possible too. But I think just being kind to yourself and taking a second to acknowledge it and then being like, all right, this is what I'm going to do different next time,
Yeah.
I think that's all we really can do, right?
Yeah. I was just thinking about stand-up comedy. I have Luke, friend of the show.
Yes.
Luke, invited me to go before COVID, invited me to go see his first time doing stand-up in front of people. Hey. And I have to tell you, like, first of all, he was great. But second of all, I mean, this was a particular place where people that are new at stand-up can go and work out. So everybody there was nervous, and you can sort of tell. He was great though. I could see him like killing it. He's like really great on stage and in front of people. But I was thinking, like, that's one thing that I think I'm more like, if you gave me skydiving versus stand-up comedy,
I'd rather jump out of a plane.
And we did. Like,
and we did.
For our listeners, that
was our choice. Remember, those were the two things for fear.
But I kind of want to go to that room and do this with you to tackle another episode of Fear or Embarrassment in the future. Sorry. If you want us to do it, send us an email at noone'sokay@gmail.com.
Or don't. My first joke is definitely going to be about the water people.
We'll film it and put it up on Patreon.
Oh, God.
No, for sure. That was, if you guys haven't listened to our Leap of Fear episode, please do. We chose skydiving over doing stand-up comedy.
We did.
That was, we're like, we'd rather potentially, we were signing waivers that said we might, get severely injured or pass away. We signed those papers and jumped out of a plane instead of going to do stand-up. I think that people that do stand-up are so fucking brave.
Incredibly
Which is why it drives me crazy when people like heckle from the audience. I'm like, you go do it.
Exactly. You go do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about skydiving made me think of something. Do you watch the Ellen Show at all?
I have.
I was watching reruns of it because they come up on like my Facebook page a lot. And I was watching an interview that she did. I don't know if it's old or new or what, because I don't really keep up with it like in time. I just kind of watch little snippets of her interviews with actors. And she did one with Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was talking about the time that he went skydiving. Did you hear about this?
Oh, I think I did see this clip. Where his shoe didn't work, his first one, and then the second one got tangled.
He was telling that story, and I was like, I'm so happy I've watched this after I went skydiving, and he was saying it
like, if it could happen to Leo.
I know. I was like, well, if it happened to Leonardo DiCaprio, that certainly could happen to me. So I was like, I was in awe because he was so calm. He's like, yeah, like the first one didn't go, and then the second one didn't go, and then I saw people's like chutes, like,
and
going up, and I
break your leg with your legs.
He's like, yeah, your legs might break. Like, if someone whispered in my ear, I was like, we might break your legs, I'd be like,
send me back up.
Get out of my own skin now. Can someone please help me?
That's really funny.
And he's saying it so calmly. Like, of course I'm, he's fine. But like, I just was like, what the heck?
Also, I did see that clip.
I feel like I would be embarrassed if I was his tandem, the guy whoever he jumped with, because I'd be like, oh my God, like Leonardo DiCaprio jumped with
I couldn't
like,
be the person that he was jumping tandem with.
Me neither. I'd be like, I would forget
to open the shoe.
Be like, Leo's. Same.
And I know that for a fact because when I was skydiving, the chute caught me by surprise.
Oh, yeah, I was counting down the seconds. They told me.
And I was just like, why am I being oh, that must be the chute. I'm alive.
They told me the time it took, and I can't remember it right now, but I remember them telling me, because I asked a lot of questions. I remember him telling me how long we would be free falling until the chute dropped. So I was like clocking it in my head. I was like, it's going to be about now. And then it went. And I was like, okay.
I don't know how people can think when you're free falling because it's so much air and it's so fast and it's so intense.
I think all I do is think. when I'm scared or nervous. There's too much thinking happening.
I was totally at the mercy of the situation.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of a control freak in that aspect. I was like, when's he gonna pull it? He better remember.
That's really funny.
I will pull it if he doesn't. I know where it is. I asked.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that feels like having one of them fail. That would.
Oh my God. I think I probably would faint.
Yeah.
I really would faint. Like I'd be like, we're done. I'm just gonna accept my fate.
Really would faint.
I really would. I would just be like, I'm gonna accept my fate right now and just we're good.
Done.
Really okay. Yeah, no, that made me think of it. But
beautiful. What movies do you feel embody the emotion that we are talking about the best?
I thought of I need to really think on this, but I thought of one off the top of my head. With the help of you jogged my brain with yours. But I thought of Mean Girls when she goes to the costume party and she's dressed as the what is she? Ex-wife, I think. Is that what she
like she actually wore something scary.
She wore something scary, as one should do at a costume party, but obviously when you're in high school, that doesn't.
I mean, should, but like it certainly shouldn't be like frowned upon if you decide to be scary for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not saying you wear whatever you want for Halloween, but it shouldn't be frowned upon. And in that moment when she walks in and all the girls are like in these cute, like fun, like Halloween costumes, and she's like bloody.
She was like a dead bride or something like that.
Teeth. Yeah, I forget what she calls herself. I want to say like ex-wife or
yeah,
something like that. But and she was very, she was pretty embarrassed in that moment. And I think back to high school a lot when I think of embarrassment because you just want to fit in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're doing everything you can to fit in. She probably thought, she's like, I have the sickest costume,
Yeah.
And she walks in there. It was cool. And she walks in and it's just like, because you compare yourself. I think you compare yourself to other people a lot in high school too. So,
oh, for sure.
When you're not doing the norm
mm-hmm.
or whatever that is, I don't feel like you don't even know what that is when you're in high school, but it feels wrong. So that's what I thought of first.
Love it. I also had a costume one.
I know. I feel like I kind of like just piggybacked off of yours.
I love it. I love it for us. I was thinking of Legally Blonde when she also shows up as a Playboy bunny to one of the college parties that they were throwing, and they told her it was a costume party and no one else dressed up in costume, which was so mean. But she literally showed up, looked around, took it in, and you could see her kind of like collapsing. And then she was like she did this like the most charming like laugh and was like like walked in and like told them off, and then like doubled down by like deciding that I'm going to show these people that I'm supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. And like went to the store wearing what she was wearing to buy herself her computer, and it was so badass. It's like I love that movie. I do
too. I feel like that entire movie is like the defiance of feeling embarrassment, because even when she goes to law school and she wears what she wants, her little glasses, and she is who she is to her core,
right? And put aside the fact that she did this originally to like get back her guy, which is like, let's be real, everyone before they like have this light bulb moment of mm-hmm. I shouldn't have to change to be with the person that I want to be with.
Yeah.
Before everyone eventually hopefully gets that light bulb moment, we have moments like this one where we're like, well, I'm gonna just fix it. Mm-hmm. And like, so putting that whole like motive aside, I think it's wonderful that she just like refused to change who she was while she was doing this thing.
Yeah. I also just thought of another one while you were talking. There's an episode in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, when Alexis's that first guy she starts dating, I forget his name. It's like something very like masculine.
Mutt?
Sorry. Yes, Mutt. And he buys her a bicycle.
I literally was just watching that episode before we hopped on.
Yeah. And she's like trying to like play it off. She's like, I just don't, but she like doesn't know how to ride a bike. I just thought of like how as humans too, like when we're embarrassed by something, we try to like act like we're better than it sometimes. We're like, oh, I don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was obviously like, you know, exaggeration of what someone might do into, you know, for comedy and humor. But I feel like sometimes we do that when we're embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, oh no, I don't do that. Or like, I don't like stand-up comedy. No, that's not my thing. But like, we're really just like fucking terrified, you know? But yeah, that made me think of that because that's kind of embarrassing that she, you know, that might be an embarrassing moment for her that she didn't know how to ride a bicycle.
For sure. Same with David.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite moments when David tries the bike.
Yes.
It's so good. But yeah, I think there's something very endearing about someone that's willing to laugh off their embarrassment or like own up to it and just say like, well, that was embarrassing, you know, because that's so relatable and nobody is perfect. So literally everyone on the planet has been embarrassed at one point or another. And I feel like people that are not going to understand that someone's feeling that and they just did something embarrassing and they're feeling that way. I feel like if someone's not understanding or like doesn't find it endearing or like give someone a hard time about it, it's like you're an asshole because here's the thing, it's so relatable. Everyone feels this at some point. So I feel like it's more endearing when we own up to it.
Yeah. I agree.
Laugh that shit off.
Yeah. Do you ever feel the need to like tell someone just to like get it off your chest?
Oh yeah.
Like something embarrassing happened.
I make a phone call.
Yeah. You're like, I have to tell someone that I did this embarrassing thing. Cause then like, you know, then it's out there and I know that it was embarrassing. So that makes it better.
It's really funny because I usually call someone that like, I know exactly what she's going to say and she'll be like, who cares? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, but no, you don't understand. Like, this is how she's like, no one cares.
No one cares.
Which is 1000% another Schitt's Creek moment, which I love. And I think I mentioned on the show before is when Alexis is like, nobody thinks about you the way you think about you.
And yeah, that's so true. Like, especially like those moments where you feel embarrassed about stumbling over a word or saying something weird. Like 99% of the time that person's like, okay. Like they don't even think about it. They're, you know, they're thinking about the last embarrassing thing that they did and cringing.
Right. And not everyone is eloquent all the time.
No. I'm never eloquent usually.
Me neither.
Never.
It's rare.
It always sounds eloquent in my head.
You know what's interesting? I've been listening back to a couple episodes and listening to us talk. And I know that in the moment when we're recording, there are so many things that I'm thinking about while we're recording, not just like what I'm saying. I'm thinking about the audience and I'm thinking about the topics and what the outline of the show and all this stuff that I'm like, in the moment, I'm like, oh, this is complete garbage. Like I am not sounding, you know, interesting or smart or cool. And then I listen back, and not all the time, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but sometimes when I listen back, I'm like, oh, like this sounded way better than I thought it would. Wow.
Yeah.
Or sometimes the opposite happens where I feel like, oh, we got really deep there. And then I listen back, I'm like, that was dumb.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
You guys do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like when people are, you know, we give film reviews sometimes on this show, and I feel like most of the time we are very understanding because this is our field. And if we give a criticism, it's usually very constructive. And we try never to like shit talk anything or anyone, because who are we to fucking say, like, if we could do it better, why don't we? You know what I mean? I feel like we have some nice input because we are actors and we study storylines and we study character and a lot of aspects of film. But a part of me is like, if I say anything remotely negative, it's like, okay, well, Pamela, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
If you want to heckle someone that's doing stand-up, if you want to trash a movie or TV show, and I mean trash, not give constructive reviews are great, but don't trash people or heckle people.
Yep.
You know, you don't know what it's like to make this masterpiece or to get up on stage and bare your soul.
I agree.
I'm done. That's my TED Talk.
I loved it. Thank you.
It was too much.
It was good.
That was good. A little preachy, but
no, it's true. It's true.
Should I be embarrassed?
It's really hard. And I think we're going into like being, like judgmental, into that, using that term. But you shouldn't really judge something.
Especially embarrassment stems from what society thinks of you, what you think society is going to think of you.
Exactly. And I think what you're saying is like, I think, listen, again, I say we're all human, and unless you're doing this 10 times a day, it's hard. Why judge? Why judge?
Yeah, it always boggles my mind. Like, I think calling someone out for something that they actually did wrong or said something that was truly like harmful, that's one thing. Constructive criticism is one thing, but like, it always blows my mind when I see totally like non-constructive comments on YouTube pages or like
Instagrams. People are really harsh.
Instagrams or Twitter. I'm like, what good is that gonna do? I fully believe that everyone should be able to speak their mind, but at the same time, like, I also believe that you should think about and maybe learn about what you're talking about before you say something. But maybe that's just me.
No, absolutely. I mean,
I'm sweating because this is like, whoo, don't hate me, people. I'm getting a little preachy.
No, I think like people, especially with social media, and I think we've talked about this before, like for some reason they, find it is easier, because you're, behind your phone to throw out negativity. And I think this is what I always try to think about when people are negative too. And this is like my golden rule is like, okay, they're obviously going through something, they have their own things too. And maybe that's why they said that. Maybe they didn't really mean it. Probably didn't, honestly, because if,
imagine if they were standing face to face with you. Do you think they would say that? Most of the time, I don't think so.
They wouldn't. And I'm sorry, but hurt people.
Yeah, that's so true.
I've done it. I know. We've all been hurt at one point. We've all made mistakes where we've said something we shouldn't have said because we were hurt ourselves. So, I try to think of it in that way and try not to take things personally, but it's hard. It's hard not to. And I just think maybe it's just, if you're not feeling it that day, then maybe just don't pick up the phone and type something.
Maybe go get an ice cream or go for a run. Take a nap.
And yeah. But, because even that's embarrassing too. Like, speaking of embarrassment, like when you do put something out there on social media and someone, posts a negative comment, that's embarrassing. Because then everyone can see that negative comment on your post. So it's like, there's so many different...
that shit. I fully believe you delete that shit because I'm like, I'm not providing a space for you to talk shit about me. This is my space. You say nice things or you're out of here.
And
say it somewhere else. This is not your space. This is my space.
Yes. And I'm the queen of deleting shit. Like, speaking of secondhand embarrassment, if I've had like an awkward conversation over text message with someone, the thread is gone.
Oh, really? I
delete.
Very rarely delete things.
I don't want to read. I don't like to reread. I don't like to reread.
I don't reread. I just save
things.
Because you never know.
If I save it, I feel like I might reread it. I don't know. I just like, I want to pretend it just never happened.
That's so funny. You're like that. And I have a friend like that they actually delete people entirely when she's like, I'm done speaking to this person for the time. They're like out of their phone.
Oh, I don't delete them entirely. You never say never. But I definitely delete that conversation. I'm like, I'm good. You know, like that time that not to really just throw myself under the bus here, but I feel like I need to make a general announcement.
What this whole episode is about. I feel like I've been throwing myself fully under the bus and said, hey, bus, come get me.
But I also feel like I need to make a general announcement that there was a time in space where I didn't know what "Are you up" meant.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like I need to say it just in case like anyone out there received one of these messages from me, because how many
people do you say "Are you up" to?
Okay, so let me just preface this with, I'm sure I've texted it to Pam. I've definitely texted to a lot of gal friends, which
I never thought it was a sexual advance.
Right, because you're a girl. But apparently, if you're a male,
if you text me that, I'll be like,
you're like, what's into your apartment? You're like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Anyway, so I think because I, dated, Shan since high school.
Do you ever call him that when I'm not
around? Sometimes.
Does he hate it so much?
I think he's just gotten used to it.
He's gotten used to it now? Okay.
He's accepted it. But Shane and I started dating in high school, and then I moved out here, and we took a minute. We took a beat.
Take a breath. Everyone go to their corners.
Yeah, everyone go to their corners. We in a hot minute. Well, anyways, we broke up, and I was thrown into the wild, wild west of dating. Okay.
Literally in the west.
Literally in the west. I just didn't. I also just like really just like to connect with people in general, even if it isn't like romantically. Which apparently, that's a whole nother conversation, but, and so I thought that "Are you up?" Like and living on my own as a gal, sometimes I would get like really afraid. Spooked to be like, "Are you up?" Like "Are you up" to me that like, can I call you?
It literally, "Are you awake?"
Are you awake? I want to have a phone conversation because I might have a panic attack because I think someone's outside. Like that's what it meant to me. But then my one friend was like, "Oh no,
that's a proposition."
I was like, that means like a booty call. And I was like, I'm confused because like, "Are you up?" like means like, "Are you up?" If I wanted to like, I would be like, I'd be like, "Do you want to, like I just like say what I mean, So anyways, so that's embarrassing. I also didn't get any responses most of the time. So that's even more embarrassing.
How like both men and women?
Yeah. And I have this guy friend who like, it's clearly platonic. And it was funny because we were out to eat one night and with our other friend who is a female, and this is after the realization. I was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he starts laughing, and I'm like, "What did you think I was asking you?" He's like, "Well, I knew because like we were friends, but then I got a little confused at one point." And I was like, "Why didn't anyone say anything?"
I can't believe it. I can't believe this was actually a thing that people...
This was a thing. And he was like, "Yeah, I was a little
But like people need to like
I knew and
put it into the context of the relationship too. I feel like with him, it was probably a failure of putting it into context.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he figured it out, but like, but I think, yeah, yeah, it's all good. Can't throw that phrase around apparently.
I say we take it and we run with it. It means "Are you awake?" I would like for people that want to hook up to do more than say "You up?"
Exactly. Have some
Make
class.
Make it interesting. Are you occupied this evening? Because I was thinking that we share a bottle of wine and explore each other's bodies. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, but like something like be like, hey, want to come over? Like, I don't know. Like, I'd be like asking them
Now
to
I'm
come
embarrassed.
over. I wouldn't be like, are you up? Like, I'm sorry. Whatever. Someone's gonna get mad at me at this because apparently that's how you do it. Apparently,
we need to do better than this.
My friend said, quote unquote, that's what the fuck boys do. And I was like, oh, well, I must have a giant dick. Because I've been just like throwing that phrase out like it's
I feel like if you wanted to use that phrase or you wanted to do that, let's say you were single and you wanted to hook up with somebody.
Right.
I feel like you Alexa would say more than you up.
Oh, absolutely. I'd probably honestly
come on guys, we got to raise the bar, men and women.
Exactly.
Let's go. Make it a little more interesting. Oh, you know, I was thinking that I
just showered.
Sorry. Can you be embarrassed by your own embarrassment episode?
I think I am. I'm pretty sure I am.
But
I think that's where I'm at in life right now.
I really don't want to edit this one. I really want to leave it.
I'm also just like so awkward. So like, I just can't even imagine. I mean, I don't know. I've also never done that because like, I don't know. I'm just a weirdo.
Never propositioned someone.
No.
Usually when I do it, it's like in advance, right? I'm like, let's make a plan.
Yeah. Like usually it's like a thing. It's like, want to go get dinner.
But if I was like wanting,
and I put my clothes in my purse, you know what I mean? Like
if I was like wanting it and like in the moment and like life was normal and it wasn't good, blah, I feel like I would try harder than you up.
Absolutely.
I feel like I would be like, I'd either make a joke or I would either like set the tone, like be like, hey, I've got a bottle of wine, I have this movie, blah blah blah, or I would like make a joke and be like, I've been sleeping on one side of the bed and there's a slope, do you want to even it out with me?
I'd be like,
I don't know.
I'd be like, do you want to come over for a nightcap? I just got a new record.
I got a new decanter.
That would be me. I'd be like, want to come over for a nightcap? Like, got this, like,
nightcap.
I would say that though.
Oh my god.
So listen here. If the word nightcap is not involved, you ain't getting any.
Let's try harder and let's say that the phrase "you up" is literally, are you awake?
Are you
no
up?
Other expectations.
Are you up? Because I am afraid in my apartment.
I can't
by
sleep.
myself. I can't sleep. I have anxiety. Okay. I might be depressed. I want to talk. That's what "are you up" means.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Gen Z probably doesn't agree with me, but I don't care.
It's okay. Look at this side part.
I am rocking a middle part right now, but I do.
I mean, it's slightly off center.
It's slightly off center.
But you have the curtain bangs, so.
I know. I actually sent it.
They actually look really beautiful on you. So.
I actually
Alexa got a haircut, you guys.
I actually sent a text. I sent a text message to my millennial friends back on the East Coast, and I took a picture of my new hair, and I was like, I'm living a lie.
No, you're not. I think this suits you very well.
Thank you. I was just joking because I was like, I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
But I am like dressed up as Gen Z.
Yeah. That's all right.
I'm an imposter.
Day to day, I usually dress up like the best generation or the greatest generation. Literally, I'm knitting. I'm wearing a lot of wool. Big glasses.
Bad for you.
You know, we're allowed to flow through the moods.
Yes. We do what we want.
I'm embarrassed by our embarrassment episode.
I don't even know. I had thoughts about making that announcement, but I was like, maybe it's not a good idea, but
we have not recorded in like how long? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So I feel like we're on one, like we're letting out all the energy that we've had pent up for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we usually record once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And so this is
it's very true.
We're doing great.
I'm going to tell my mom to skip this one.
I'm not. Be like, sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry.
I think, yeah. Because I can just hear it now. She's like, you said you had a big dick.
You said dick.
I was mimicking her. My mom is so lovely. I was being an asshole. My mom is so lovely.
So is my mom, but I know she's gonna probably say something after the I think I said with our last episode with GB, I believe I said acting boner.
You did. That was great. I liked that.
And you guys were like,
I was like, yes.
Good. Well, I just doubled down and said it again. You're welcome, Mom.
2 times now.
Alexa, are you okay?
Oh, I'm certainly not okay.
Clearly. What's up?
I had a day. Oh God, I had a day at work. It was one of those days where like you think that you might sob, but then it ends up okay. So
why did you think that you were gonna sob?
I don't really know. I can't really tell if like it was because I just like I don't know. I don't really know. For the first like 2 hours of work, I was like, I hate it here. I'm gonna cry. I might ask my boss to leave. And then I was like, you are a badass bitch. Kept repeating that in my head. And then I got through it. Working in retail is like not super fun. So
no, it's not. I was thinking that like my blip in retail with you was over a year. I worked almost a year and a half.
You did it. You did.
It feels like way less because I think I blocked out maybe 8
You have to. You have to. I was on the phone with someone the other day and they weren't very nice to me. I was trying to explain our protocol and she was like, you can stop talking now. And I was like, I'm going to kill you.
No fucking way.
Yeah, she said that to me. And I was like, it took me everything in me to be polite and finish the conversation. I was like, all right. Yeah. Okay, you can stop talking now.
That is so rude.
Yeah, I just wonder what these people, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, again, I try to think about.
We need to have a side job episode. We already did it, but we've been shy about releasing it. We should. Yeah, again, she was probably having a really bad day. So same with when I was waiting tables and the lady I waited on said, I can't even look at you until I get a glass of wine. She said that to me.
That is really hard.
Hi, how are you? And she's I can't look at you until I have a glass of wine. I was like, all right, this would be me. I was like, and he's like, and then they apologized when I came back with the wine.
I would just turn around and start crying. I'd be like, okay, well, let me look at your wine.
At that point, it's just like, it's so absurd that like you kind of have to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be nice to people, guys. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Thanks for coming to our TED Talk. But I feel much better now because I do have my wine.
Very good.
So I'm feeling good. Feeling thoroughly embarrassed.
I think that's a very good method that you developed, saying that you're a badass.
Oh yeah. I just when I get to that point where I'm like, I'm either gonna have a panic attack or sob, I'm like, you are a badass bitch and you can do this.
Yes.
And then somehow you make it through.
You make it through.
You just do it. Because you are a badass bitch. Remember that, everyone.
Yes. All of you.
All of you.
We love you.
We love you.
Don't put up with people's shit.
Yeah. Pam.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No.
Very good. Yes.
The end. I'm better than okay. I left my home and I walked. I went for a walk. I got some coffee. My friend and I, who lives very close, we put on our masks I can't speak English now. We put on our masks. We went to the coffee shop and walked around my neighborhood, and it was lovely.
That sounds lovely.
Moving the body, getting in the sun, because I don't know if I mentioned this. I had a friend of mine say, maybe you're not able to sleep because you're not going outside. Because I get most of my workouts indoors. And they're like, yeah, you're living the life of like living in a casino. It's like, it's always dark in your apartment and like, you don't know what time it is. So your body doesn't know when it's naturally time to go to sleep. It's like living in a fucking casino. He's like, you need to calibrate with the sun. And so I'm hoping I'm going to get good sleep because I went for a nice walk outdoors today.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
Very good point. Also, I miss our walks. We need to go on one again. We used to go on walks.
Take some beverages and go for a walk.
Yeah, I like it. But good. That sounds so lovely.
Yeah, I did that. And then I had a table read for a screenplay that friend of the show, Matt Mancuso, wrote with our friend Jerome. And it was great and it was fun. And then I made some food and I'm here now. So I feel like I had a productive day sort of for a Saturday. I feel like I don't have weekends. I just kind of like some days during the week I have nothing. And then some days on the weekend I'm really packed. So it's just kind of like.
Yeah, I feel that.
Living. Like yesterday was pretty low key. But today and tomorrow I'm getting a lot of work done. So no complaints.
It's good.
No complaints except I just want to book something badly. I've been auditioning a little bit more lately and I've been feeling really good about what I've been putting out there. Like I've been putting out auditions that I'm like, there's really nothing I could have done to make that better. Yeah. And I just it's time. Let's go.
It is time. I love my dad because he always texts me when I'm feeling low and he's like, it's gonna happen. I feel it. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Dad. Thank you.
Nice. That's nice.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go team.
Go team. It's gonna happen. We're manifesting it. It's gonna happen. I feel you.
Not only are we manifesting it, but we're like putting in the work. So like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. The audition grind is real. Sometimes you put a lot of effort. I made an entire pizza once for an audition. Now that we're doing the self-tape.
Why did you have to make a pizza?
Well, it was for a pizza commercial, so I felt like I had a bit. There was a comedy thing. Anyway, Shane was like, "You're making a pizza at 11 p.m. for an audition." I was like, "You don't understand."
They're like, "Why are you complaining? You're going to have some pizza."
Yeah, I was like, "We're eating pizza tonight." That's what we're doing. So I get it. You put a lot of effort in to do the things, and then you hear nothing.
'Tis the life. Speaking of pizza, I know you already saw it, but I this past week got really into Stanley Tucci's Finding Italy on Hulu, and holy shit, I was suffering like pains because I didn't have pizza in my hand when I was watching this because he was traveling through Naples and eating pizza. And like he went to like the mozzarella factory and like was discovering he went to like the San Marzano like tomato farm and like I was drooling. And so I went over to my parents' house and I put it on and I brought a big pizza.
Yeah.
And we watched that episode whilst eating pizza and I was like, oh my God, so much better.
Yes, you need it.
Yeah.
You need it. I want to learn how to make fresh mozzarella. My mom knows how. I want to learn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yum. When everything calms down, I want to go see your parents, meet them in person, and make mozzarella with your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. We go. I can arrange that. She loves to cook.
Very good.
She would love that. All right.
That's it.
That's all we got.
Sorry. Bye now.
Bye now.
We love you.
Love you.
Follow us on Patreon, YouTube, Instagram, all the things. Thanks.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all the things. If for some reason you want to see more of us, you can follow us on Instagram @NoOne'sOkay.
And a special thanks to Jordan Ross Weinhold, Sean Moore, Jason Crow, Claire Palmer, Jackson Palmer, Tiffany Haymoff, Shane Rings, James Liddell, and our podcast is recorded at Soundworks Studios. We can't wait to meet you!